Today, what I want to do is to cover up on how to practice Vipassana. This we're out of Samatha, and let's look into Vipassana. What should be done all the time? Whenever we are done with Samatha, the next step is Vipassana. So what Buddha says is that these seven things should be known. You can take the chair, or you can sit on the bed itself. So, so what are the seven things? Okay. So in everything, we need to see the Rupa. The first thing is to know what is Rupa, form. Okay. And secondly is what is feeling. And now I don't want to go back to sensation business. It's done. So what is feeling? Okay. Just the feeling. And then what's the perception? It's not how it happens, what it happens, just the perception. Then what you are calling as an volition or choices or preparation or whatever that is. And what is a conscious experience? Okay, this first part should be completely known. No doubts, nothing should be there. Not intellectually. What I'm saying is that we might know, yeah, this is Rupa. No. Exactly what is Rupa? If this question were to be asked to you, can be for anyone, what would you answer? Don't tell me it is Patvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja, like a examination question. And you would get full marks for that, that's for sure. Even I have given the answer itself. Other than telling me this, how would you tell me what you understand by Rupa? That's what I just now said. Patvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. That's fine, but I think you need to be slightly coming here, otherwise your voice will. No, but nobody can hear what you are answering. It's better that way because otherwise we can't hear. I mean, even they can't hear what are you.
Per my understanding, I feel that it is the property which is to be seen experience first, ultimately tell you the experience because of so and so element. Suppose if you get a heaviness in the body, Prithvi Dhatu, have some sort of salivation in the mouth that sense element which is
Okay, so that's not how it is. No. The first thing is a conscious experience. That's how you should start. Okay. So, what are you experiencing? I'm 100% certain you are experiencing a full thing rather than Patvi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo. That. Correct? So, the thing that needs to be done is to change the perception. So, on one side, that is, call it as left hand side, LHS, you put the formula saying that Rupa means Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Varna, Rasa, Gandha, Oja, where Vedana means Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukka Sukha Vedana. Sanya means that Rupa Sanya, Saddha Sanya, Gandha Sanya, Rasa Sanya, Pottabha Sanya, Dhamma Sanya. Okay. Sankhara means Chakku Sanchetana, Sota Sanchetana, Ghana Sanchetana, Jiva Sanchetana, Kaya Sanchetana, Mano Sanchetana. Vinyana means Chakku Vinyana, Sota Vinyana, Ghana Vinyana, Jiva Vinyana, Kaya Vinyana, Mano. Yep. This we have put on the LHS, left hand side. Now you have to solve the equation on the right hand side. Okay. It's a simultaneous equation. It's not a quadratic equation, it's a simultaneous equation. So if you take one, it will pull the others. So what should you pull for it to pull the others? Can anybody answer? What is one thing that you need to pull others? Yes, sir. You.
Contact?
No. We are gone to the next one. How it happens. So there are four parts, right? One is what is Rupa, what is the Samudaya, what is Nirodha, what is the Nirodha Gamini Patipada. This is four. You have gone to the next one. When you say contact, it means Phassa.
Mind, where to pull?
Mind. What is mind? In this equation, which is the mind?
That now others we have some effect on one part, it gets effect similarly on the other side also.
No. Again, repeat my question if you are not understood what I'm asking. Out of these five aggregates, which of the one, if you pull, pulls the others?
What do you mean by pull?
It will make it dissolve completely. Just like if I were to say, can I pull Rupa? You can't. Or can you pull Vedana? I don't know. Yeah, Bobby, good, good answer. Yes, Vijnana. You pull Vijnana. In fact, there's a sutta for that itself. A good one. So the consciousness, if you pull, will pull everything. Meaning to say, you can cut the consciousness or you can keep the consciousness. If you keep the consciousness, it grows. So Buddha says, as long as somebody keeps the consciousness, it starts to grow, mature, and perish. Okay. Now, how would you propose to do this? Next question. How would you propose to do this? Yes, Vijnana is correct. Good answer. But how do you propose to pull it? Yes.
Then Naroda Samapatti.
No, that's the end of it. You have gone to the good one, but that's the end of it. Cutting phassa. No, Bobby. You already, Aryu had answered that. He said contact, and you are saying in Pali, that's it. How do you propose to do it? Yes.
desymbolize everything?
Yes, that's correct. So change the perception.
Remove the symbol.
Yes, that's correct. So change of perception. So the only thing you can do actually is to change the perception in consciousness. And when you change the perception in consciousness, it becomes Vipassana. So you want to enter into first jhana, you're changing the perception in consciousness. Isn't it true or false? Then the second jhana, then third and fourth and fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth, and then there is no perception nor feeling because you have removed the perception and hence there is no feeling. Clear? So the roadmap is that change the perception. And Buddha calls it as anicca sanya from nicca sanya. Okay. The only thing you can do in consciousness is to change the perception. And when you change the perception, it changes the feeling. If you keep the same perception, then no matter how much I memorize Buddha Dhamma, it's no change because the perception has not changed a bit. I might know the entire Sutta Pitaka to the best of Pali and English and grammar and all that, but no perception has changed. Makes no sense for me as a person I'm talking about. Even though my videos might be very good, very entertaining, very thoughtful, thought provoking, blah, blah, all that. But if I don't know how to change the perception in consciousness, not just perception alone, you can't. There's nothing called separation. Perception in consciousness will cut the feeling. You can't remove the feeling. You can cut the feeling. Any questions? And that cutting off feeling is upekha. Otherwise, it becomes adukha sukha vedana only. Doesn't become upekha. What Buddha says in that 48.40, which I had shared, is so manasa, is upekha. That is, you attain Nirodha Samapatti. So how did he do it? First thing is dukkha vedana, bodily unpleasant feeling. How does he replace it? By first jhana. I think you've forgotten. Mentally unpleasant feeling. He will get by cutting off that through second jhana. Bodily pleasant feeling. He will cut it to what? To third jhana. And so manasa, mentally pleasant feeling, he will come into fourth jhana, which will create upekha. And the upekha as such, you cut it by Nirodha Samapatti. And that ends suffering. So how did he come out of suffering? Somebody were to ask, how do you come out of suffering? Is by knowing there is suffering. That's the answer. It's not going to Nirodha Samapatti. It's by knowing there is suffering. And what is suffering? Is feeling, not sensation. It's got nothing to do with sensation. It's by feeling. Yes, Shinil.
Where does this word sensation come into things? Is it added later or is it in the suttas?
No, there's no sutta reference to it. It is actually Hindi word which has been coined, and that's a cause of confusion.
Okay, thank you.
Because sensation in Hindi means samvedana. There is no Pali word called samvedana. So what has happened is the bodily feelings, which is called sukha vedana, dukkha vedana, has been imported to mean as samvedana. And that makes it different between Vedana and Samvedana, as though Samvedana means something different than Vedana or an extension of Vedana. As an example, I'm feeling hot, right? That's a Samvedana, it's a sensation.
Yep.
If Buddha were to be there, he would ask me, is it pleasurable? Is it painful? Or is it neutral? That's the right way of approaching. I might feel hot. That English word, I'm feeling hot, is nothing but my sensation is hot. I'm feeling a hot sensation. But Buddha would ask, is it pleasant? Is it unpleasant? Or is it neutral? And the answer I would give is unpleasant. Then he would say, stand in the breeze. Now you tell me, is the unpleasantness still there? And I would say, no. Did you not see the feeling is changed from unpleasant to pleasant? Thank you, Buddha. You have literally opened my eyes. From closed eyes, now I see that feeling is changing. That's exactly what Goenka also wanted to show by the Samvedana. I'm not saying, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, and just one more thing, and that's why Vedana and Vipassana is about pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral.
Neutral.
That's what we're looking for.
Yes. So, to properly understand, and why I took this Samvedana and Vedana is because this 99.99% of us have come from Goenka background. And we have heard this Samvedana so much that it has become part of our blood system. And it's very hard to realize that there is no term called as Samvedana. And there is nothing you feel as Samvedana. Your feeling is one thing, what is happening in the body is another thing. You can name it as whatever you want. I can say throbbing sensation. It's correct. But what will throbbing sensation do to you? Neutral feeling. Like, I can hear my heartbeat. It's a sensation. And what's the feeling of heartbeat? Neutral. So if Buddha were to be there, he would ask this simple question. He'll ask, cut the crap. What are you feeling now? I would say neutral feeling. Yes, go ahead.
I had one more question related to that and Sanya. Sanya is about cognizing, recognizing, but in the Goenkaji tradition, there's always like, okay, there's Vedana, which we know is feeling, which is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. But does Sanya have an impact on how you respond to that or not at all?
Not at all. See, what happens is like, good question. I wanted somebody, I thought Bobby is going to ask this. Anyway, good that you asked. See, it goes this way. Shaniel is referred to our meeting first time in Bobby's home. Okay, when you came with your paraphernalia, okay, with your mat and other things. And we had not seen you being so tall. because we have not even seen, we used to have seen the video, but we never knew that you're so tall figure in the first place. The first time we see you seeing me, I seeing you, Bobby seeing you, and Janak seeing you, and all those people who are sitting there, if you reflect back, was that a sanya? Was that a vedana?
Mm.
Side.
No, it's a feeling. First, you feel. The
Mhm.
very first time, you feel the person. But the second time, there is only sanya, perception. You don't require to feel because that perception brings in the feeling. So the fun part is, let's say, if I had felt very not so impressive about Shaniel, or rather, Shaniel would have felt, I am meeting a bogus teacher who has come here, let's say for some reason, he would be so skeptical, saying, I don't know what this guy is. And then, because these days, there are mushrooms of teachers, and another mushroom has come. So we don't know whether it makes sense to interact or not interact. So I will be really skeptical. The word skeptical is nothing but a perception of doubt, right? But are you feeling doubtful or are you perceiving doubtful? You're feeling uneasy. Your experience with me is uneasy, not a good feeling. So that is making you to perceive with caution, doubt, and all that. Right? Now, in my language vocabulary, what I can do is I can call that as a reaction to some Vedana. Like if I'm from Goenka tradition, I would make it as a extension of this samvedana. That I'm perceiving hot sensation, I'm perceiving cold sensation, and that is appearing here and going there, and this happening, that happening. So that's what I would actually do to it. But in reality, when you saw me, when I saw you, the eye to eye contact, what we had for a moment or two, there's a decision making at that point in time based upon the Vedana, feeling, not based upon perception. Then, if you are comfortable, you will forget all about it and it turns neutral. When you sat with your mat thing, you just sat, okay, now I have this guy, I have evaluated him for close to a year or a year, and then I know. But the first time you saw my video, was it a perception or a feeling? It was a feeling. And when you continue seeing my videos, your perception keeps on changing based upon the feeling, because the initial feeling remains. You keep on adding over it, and the perception now moves to the next. And then it goes up, and then again, the perception goes next. So it keeps on building up. If somebody comes and say, you know what, Daniel, this guy whom you're watching is a bogus fellow, and then is that a perception or a feeling? It's a perception. Now you have to fight with that perception because somebody has put something in your head that he's a bogus fellow. That bogus is a perception. And that word creates perceived notion. If you give into it, transforms itself into a feeling. Either towards your friend who came and said he's a bogus fellow, or towards me whom you're seeing it as bogus. Let's say it turns out to be true. You would go and thank your friend. Hey, you're a tremendous person, man. I watched this guy for 1 year, couldn't find him. You could find in one video. My God. Amazing. Why? Because he is perceiving. He's not feeling, he's perceiving. But you are feeling. So you have to change the perception through your friend. So this is how the perception molds itself into feeling the next time. So the first time is a feeling. You're caught up onto the feeling. So that is what upadana is. So the tanha has happened at the feeling. Vedana pache tanha. The craving is there. So you want that feeling back. So you felt good in my video, so you want that feeling back. So you are having upadana, which means you're holding on to it. So you are in a bhava, meaning you become that. You become, let's say, you're following Goenka for a change, let's say, and you would like to follow me. There's a fight between Goenka feeling, right, and the feeling you're getting from me. So it's a literal fight because you have to change the perception. You have to let go of one of these perception to change the feeling. What if you have a very strong Goenka feeling? You'll want to find fault in what I say because your perception says Goenka is good. Come on, he can't be bad. There's thousands of people going to him, and he is such a huge community. This guy is a bogus fellow, talks some nonsense. I don't think so. So you're fighting between two perceptions on single feeling. Now, it's amazing, right? And slowly, you start to see when you come to neutral feeling, you start to see, hey, what he says makes sense. But then this pleasant feeling catches you up, saying that, hey, wait, Shaniel, you're supposed to feel pleasant, not neutral. Come on. Goenka is a pleasant feeling. You made a shunyagar at your home. Come on, do that only. That's the right thing. When you go and sit there, the thoughts crossfire. One thought saying, Shaniel, we should just follow what Goenka says. Another thought saying that, I think we should go here. So that is Dveda Vitaka, two thoughts. Now creates two feelings for the same perception. You have held on to the pleasant feeling. So whoever gives you pleasant feeling, you'll bet on that. Now it so happens you watch my third video forcefully. This is the last video I'm going to watch of this guy. I'm giving up. Now after this is only Goenka. I don't want to really screw up my piece. And then something strikes on that because of the neutral feeling. Because all the striking happens in the neutral feeling, not in the pleasant nor in unpleasant. When it strikes, your sanya becomes anicca sanya. So that pleasant feeling with its perception is gone. It's replaced in the consciousness by this perception and feeling. Now you come back to the Patisamutpada cycle with this new set of feeling, which is strong. Then when you start comparing with Goenka technique, you say, this is wrong, and that is wrong, and that other one is wrong, because now you are discerning it. So now you are not judging, you are discerning it. And when you discern it, your perception again changes because you're changing the entire perception which you had held. After a while, you have to take a decision. So now you feel, let me watch few more videos and see. Then you say, let me try out what he's doing, what he's saying and see it without judging. Let me see it. So you're becoming more neutral and neutral and neutral. Ultimately, that neutral takes you to the pleasant feeling. Now, when you get into a pleasant feeling, is sukha, right? And supadhana starts. So you're holding on to that. So the Goenka becomes a past memory. And this one becomes new ground. After a while of 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, you feel, I tried that, didn't work, now I'm here.
This is very profound. I have one more question. Sorry.
Yes.
Just related to that. So you're talking about Vipassana. So I guess what we're trying to get all of those, all of that conditioning that we have stored to that neutral state.
Mhm.
This is what we're trying to do with everything.
Yes, absolutely. So when I came over to Australia, I literally have to keep on doing that all the time so that it doesn't carry any memories.
Mhm.
Even though the photographs are there, even though the video is there, even though this is there, that is there, all is there. So when I sit in the flight from Brisbane to Sydney, gone, erased. Erased means it's there, but neutral. Upekha. Okay, that's beautiful. Just cuts off all my stay with Bobby and Marin and Ashley and Annabelle and all the time we spent together and etc. Janak and his family, blah blah blah, and then with you for the last day. I mean, we just spent last day together. It was like a last supper. So I can't take your experience. It's much.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense, and also aligns with my experience because now when I go and I do many things, like I don't hold on to that. I don't cling. It's just neutral. Yes. I'm experiencing it in a neutral way. I can be there. I can engage, but as you always say, you're not really there either. You're just
the flow.
Yep.
So when we are in the flow, what happens here? It's you're observing the Vedana and not associating with a particular Vedana feeling. So the perception also drops off because when you hold on to the feeling, the perception arises. So when I don't judge Shaniel at all, then there's nothing to be lost or gained, right? If I judge, then there's something to be lost or gained. So if I'm not at all judging even a single thing, what I've experienced in Australia, will I be suffering as a consequence of that judgment? Even with Goenka, there's no judgment. I'm not passing any judgment. I'm just trying to see what Buddha says and what Goenka is doing, and that's it. That's all I have. I don't have anything to do with whether he's a good teacher or a bad teacher or this one, and should I follow Goenka? Should I follow Goenka? All those are vitakkas. Veda vitakka, two kinds of thoughts. So I don't want to get into that. I'm just clear on what I should get. My only thing is get out of suffering. It doesn't matter who gives it to you. It is given in a yellow color bottle or a blue color bottle or a green color bottle or a white color bottle or a transparent bottle. It doesn't matter to me. All that I want is just liberation from suffering. What suffering? Birth is a suffering, and then you don't know where you're going to be born, and that's the only thing I have. I don't care whether Goenka is good or bad or ugly, as long as he can give me that bottle of medicine which works for me, and somebody says he's an idiot, I don't care, because that is his perception. Why should I work out on his perception at all? Because a perception is a perception, and it can be changed. Today he is saying good about Goenka, and tomorrow if something doesn't work, the same person will come back and say, that Goenka was not working. Why? His feeling didn't change. Meaning what happened? He was looking at the pleasurable feeling. He tried his best because Bhanga Jnana is a pleasurable feeling. So you're caught up onto it. Now you want that six senses to get you that Bhanga, dissolution, into Kalapa. So I'm mentally trying to get, I think I should get Kalapa. That's what it is. I did my 10th retreat. No Kalapa. Nothing is coming. Okay, somebody says, Vilas, you should do 30-day retreat, then it'll work. So I pleaded with my teachers, give me 30-day. And he somehow approved it. So I did a 30-day retreat. Then somebody suggested, Vilas, you have to do another 30-day retreat. I did another 30-day retreat. Then somebody suggested me another 45-day retreat. Somehow I fought with my family and did a 45-day retreat. Then somebody said, you have to do 3 45-day retreat and then you'll see it. So I did another 3 45-day retreat. And then somebody said to me that You have to do 60-day retreat. So I did 60-day retreat, not realizing that I'm craving from the beginning to the end. So you will not get. If somebody had told me, Vilas, hold on, hang on a second. Why are you doing this retreat? Kalapa. Excellent. So you're holding on to Kalapa. Yes, I want it. Very nice. What do you get out of it? What do I get means? What will you do with that Kalapa? I don't know. Then why do you want it? Well, I don't want it then. Then just go without wanting it. Simple. Will you collect it like a small collector piece and then bring it and show to your family? This is Kalapa. It's a perception. Now, how can you show a perception to someone? It's not possible. The Kalapa experience is a perception. It's pure perception. I'm not saying it's not there. It is there. But it is a perception. Just like I perceive gods. It's a perception. Each loka is a perception. Now, how can you reproduce that as a picture and show to someone? I'll show you the perception. No. Can you show a feeling to someone? Absolutely not. You feel what you feel, no matter what other feels. If you feel cold, you can say, hey, I'm feeling cold. And the other guy says, are you having fever? Let me check. Temperature is so hot, man. How can you get? So his perception says he's an idiot. And my perception says I'm feeling cold. I'm doing like this, and then Madhukar will say, think, Vilas ji, anyway, he's a doctor. So let me check you. So he'll check all my thing and say, you are fine, but I don't know why you're feeling cold. But Buddha would say, excuse me, don't fight. Cold is a sensation, not a feeling. What are you feeling now? Unhappiness or happiness? Sir, I'm feeling unhappiness. Good. Now put on a blanket. Yes, sir, I did. Are you still feeling cold? No, sir. But is it pleasant feeling now? Yes, sir. So what did you do? You change the feeling, and what's the perception saying now? Comfortable. So now you know if you put on the blanket, it makes you warm. So when the weather turns cold, you automatically put on the blanket or a sweater, even without realizing that the first time the feeling created the perception, and the second time there is no feeling, it's based upon perception. So blindly I will go, I will take one blanket and sit. Little realizing I'm supposed to do a kayagata sati, to look at why did I literally pick up that thing. If I had waited for a moment without pulling that rug or a thing, I could have seen for myself the previous perception and feeling is gone, replaced with this new perception and feeling, and hence the body is to be covered up. And that will be an insight. And that kind of working is what insight meditation or Vipassana is. So you go into the depth of it and see why you did something in this way. Not unconsciously, consciously. So I know I'm going towards the blanket, meaning the body is moving towards the blanket and hand is moving there. So there's a weight hitting onto this hand. While I pull the rug, and then it becomes even more harder. Slowly, I open up the blanket like this. So it's stretching. So, and I can see the anicca nature of this whole body. It was like this. Now it's become like this. Now I wrap it around. And what happened to that feeling of cold? And now the perception takes over. So now what I do in the consciousness is perception and feeling. I will cut the perception. How? Very simple. Remove the nimitta of it. Symbol. Desymbolize it. That means animitta. You will become desireless of it. Because without the symbol, there can't be any desire. Cut off the desire. So there's no craving. Craving ended. What should you get? Nibbana. So the feeling is gone. So am I not in upekka? Am I not alive? But you are dead. The you, I, inside. And that's the end of suffering. So can I do it in everything? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Yesterday, my colleague was arguing with me on some matter. He want to disrupt it. So he's doing his best effort to disrupt a process we are coming up with. So he's saying, this will not work, that will not happen. He's putting all his perceived thoughts into it. Should I react to it? Yes, you need to react. No, you need to act over it, not react over it. Because it's just a voice, sound. Now the sound is irritating. No, sound is a sound. Perception says it's irritating. But sound by itself is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. How can that be? A loud noise coming, isn't it unpleasant? It's sound. If you add a perception layer to it, it becomes unpleasant. It's just a perception of sound. Sute sute mattam bhavisati. Just hear. Now, when you hear, you can notice like that sound happening. So you are not attached to any person's sound per se. So can you then cut off that perception from the consciousness? Yes. Are you able to hear the sound now? No. What's the feeling? Nothing. Do you want to feel? Open the ear. Sound comes inside. There's a feeling of sound entering inside. You can play with all of that. You can cut off your eyes. Nothing to be seen. Blissful experience. You want to see something? Okay, open up your eyes and then, meaning take the perception of what is coming. You start feeling. So I start feeling Ariyu. The body is named Ariyu. That's coming from the mind because that is where it is registered. So the sanya picks that up. Hey, you are watching Ariyu, but it's just a body. So what I can be doing is I can be playing it. I can cut off Ariyu. I can bring back Ariyu. So am I suffering with Ariyu? No. Because there's no Ariyu. It's just a body. And there's no body because it's just Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. Isn't it amazing that I can change perception from this to that? Meaning from the world view to the out of the world. Whenever I want, I can interact with Aryu, as I interact with Shaniel or with Abhi or whoever, whatever it is, or these people who have come here, and not get associated with it at all. So can I stay like that? Yeah, absolutely fair. So this is what is Vipassi means. One who has seen the depth of what is happening. And the act of doing that is Vipassana. So in Buddha, the Vipassana is of three kinds. First kind is 5 aggregates. The second kind is dhatu, 5 dhatus, and 1 consciousness. And the third kind is ayatana. There are only 3 vipassanas. Okay. As in the Buddha, we go by Visuddhi Magga, there are many of it in combinations, which is okay. I'm not saying that's not how it, but if you purely go by what Buddha Dhamma is, the 3 vipassanas. First vipassana is on the aggregates. That's all what Buddha Dhamma is actually. And the second one is the ayatanas. The third one is dhatu. If you add all of this together, and this is the finest of the vipassana, is yam kinchi samudaya dhammam sabbam tam nirodha dhammam iti. Whatever that arises due to the causes, due to the ending of the causes, it goes away. That is patisamutpada, dependent origination. So in a nutshell, if somebody were to grow through this height, he needs to be doing vipassana on, not on aggregates, not on dhatu, not on ayatana, patisamutpada. If somebody has started afresh, he should only do it on 5 dhatus. 5 aggregates. If somebody is mature to a good level like Pokkarasati, Buddha would recommend dhatu. And that's the reason there's dhatu vibhanga sutta. If somebody is confused, Maharahulavada sutta, because it gives everything. And if somebody is smart, intelligent, can pick up Pottapada sutta. Because he can pick it up like this. Oh, just changing perception. Done. I understood. If somebody is a dumb idiot, like me, then you have to start from the beginning, which is Sila. Because there's no other way. You have to become a Sotapanna to get into Patisamutpada. So this is the roadmap of Buddha Dhamma, complete, end to end. So I and you are supposed to remove the perception and feeling. Period. The day we do it, the samsara is ended. Not sensation. Nothing to do with sensation. I don't know, Shaniel, what happened to your discussion with these people which you are supposed to have on this sensation feeling which Bobby had sent. I hope I had a good time with that.
It was good. We didn't really discuss too much, but what I wanted to ask, I had a question for you, just because a lot of people here are from the Goenka Ji's tradition, and sensation is a big thing. So it's like, if it's itching or heat or cold, like observe that, right? And it's easy to observe that
Yes.
after some time because it's quite gross.
Yes.
But then eventually it starts to become more and more subtle, and you get to the point where what you're looking at is feeling pleasant, unpleasant, neutral.
Correct.
But then at some point you also start to see dhatus, and as Mudaka was saying, you know, water has the clinging sensation, and the Patavi dhatu has like, you know, heaviness and lightness and stuff. So as people progress and they get deeper in terms of the samadhi, then they're able to experience more and more things. Eventually it leads you all the way to what you're saying, but I think in Goenka's tradition, it starts at the very gross level first.
Yes, absolutely fair. I mean, it should be like that. It should be like that. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying you have to transcend from there.
Yep.
No point in getting caught up with that same thing, saying that, oh, this is what it is, this is what it is. No. So why we have Goenkaji technique or Ubakin technique is we don't have such a sharp mind to get there.
Exactly.
And we can't skip Goenka. If you want to get into Buddha Dhamma without Goenka, it is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy that somebody like Goenka Ubakin could do this much to the world. As a starter, it's no matter how much sutta I read or understand or even commentaries I read, it's just not possible. Unless a teacher like Goenka or his assistant teachers who are really good can make me understand through the sensations. I'm using the word sensation. I'm not using feeling at all. Because without sensation, without understanding the sensation, there is no point in understanding the feeling. So I need to first get round up on the sensation. Heat sensation, sweating sensation, throbbing sensation, itchy sensation, all of the sensations, no matter it is gross, but still happening on the body. If there is a reaction to that sensation, it means I am feeling an unpleasantness which I'm not able to observe, right? So why shouldn't I stop reacting to the sensation? If I'm not even willing to not react to the to the sensation, how will I then stop reacting to the pleasant and unpleasant and neutral? It's impossible. So this is a via media, and that's required. I always appreciate Goenka for whatever he has done on that. So every single individual should do one, at least, retreat of Vipassana. That's a must. But where I'm coming from is you don't have to keep on doing the same thing again and again and again.
That's correct.
That gives you, see, you can't do the same experiment and expect a different result. You have to do a different experiment to get a different result. So there's no point in doing the same thing again and again, expecting that it is going to take me somewhere. No, it will not take you anywhere. It will only take you to whatever you're doing, because we have two problems. Problem number one, Goenka doesn't exist. Problem number two, the assistant teachers, they themselves are struggling to get going to where they should be going. So it's a paradoxical situation for me, because if I go to the retreats all the time, it's good, but I'm not growing anything. I'm just doing what was done in 10 days in a 20-day retreat.
Agreed. Yep.
And what I could do in a 20-day retreat, I'm doing a 30-day retreat. So that creates craving, because I'm expecting something is going to happen, which is a cause of my suffering. Anyway, so I've gone to the Goenka with suffering. So how can I get a relief from suffering when I've gone with suffering? It makes no sense. So where I'm coming from is not that I don't disagree with sensation. There is. But that sensation, you have to transcend that body sensation into the true feelings. There is a body feeling. You will know this is a body feeling. Like I was telling Ariu the other day, when you fall down, you know there's a body feeling. It's pain. His thinking was, because you're naming it as pain, it's mental. No, it's pure physical. You just go to the doctor, he will bandage, he does something to you, and after a while that pain goes away. That's it. So you do not have to react to that pain. So how will I come to know it? If I have understood Goenka's technique properly, have not reacted to the sensation which came at that point in time, then I can understand the feelings which are arising. So you are right, Shaniel, that it leads you to the feeling. Absolutely true. And the kalapas, what we see is nothing but patavi, apo, tejo, vayu. So that's also true. But what happens is I get caught up with that because now I feel that's all what it is. So now I go to the next retreat in expectation that I'll get kalapas, and this time nothing will come. And I don't know why. I've gone with perception. So I go to assistant teacher and say to him that, look, I got kalapa, this time not coming. He will give me some answer which is unconvincing, but I can't argue with him. He will say, take that itself and observe the sensation. What sensation? I saw the kalapa. No, he said, that is a sensation. That is a sensation. Take the sensation. Now I'm tired. I'm sitting there and doing 20-day retreat, and I come back, broken heart. And my friend comes home and say, hey, what happened? Yeah, I went to a 20-day retreat. I couldn't get anything. You should go to this this center. That center is very good. This center is not that good. Now there is a ray of hope in me that if I go to that center, it works. So a new lease of life means new dopamine, new serotonin, new oxytocin, new endorphins. And now, like an idiot, I head on to that center, doing the same thing what I did in this center. Guess what? I get the same result. Why? Because in my case, personally, if I were to tell Shaniel, in December 6th, when I went with Animita, I got all what Goenka was saying. You on 5th day, you get this, I got it. 6th day, you get this, I got that. 7, 8, 9, into an extent that that assistant teacher called me saying that you're doing too good, what do you do? I said to him that I'm following Buddha teaching. I'm not doing anything different. Simple. Buddha teaching. Goenkaji, I said, look, for me, Buddha is highest, right? So this is there in the sutta. You might be following Goenka, fantastic, but I follow the Buddha. It's there in so and so sutta. If you follow this, you'll get all that what Goenka says. You don't have to spend so much time. Yes, Abhi.
I don't know how much time we have, but I want to share an experience. I think it might give a perspective, and I didn't look at it that way. But when you describe in sequence, then I see how it happened.
Right.
So this was during COVID. I was living in the Goenka Center for many months by this time, and because of COVID, there was lockdown. So I had the opportunity to do like self-retreat kind of a situation. There was teacher, so there was not much happening. And even when we were not in retreat, there was a lot of awareness and just observing, not much to do. And around that time, I had to go for a surgery, and it was going to be my first surgery. I never had a surgery in my life. There was a sense of, because I was in the center, I was not overwhelmed with life things. So I was always watching what's happening in my mind. So I saw there was curiosity, and slightly behind the curiosity there was anxiety, and the anxiety and the curiosity they were intertwined. And I would naturally all the time observe that because there was really not much to watch. And so I arrived at the hospital right after the retreat ends. So I was in a retreat, and then I go to the hospital. And in the hospital also, it's considered I had a hernia surgery, and that is the only hernia specialist surgery in the world who have a lot of psychosomatic understanding, and they treat you in a different way. So they take you in 2 days before the surgery, just so that the mind is more relaxed, because they believe if the mind is in a better state, the healing is much better. So that's the only place they do. So the first day they did my blood work and everything, and they fed me so well, like in business class, how they really take care of you. And so during the time, I'm watching other people and asking, how is your experience? How was the surgery? Did you have pain? I'm just curious, how much pain am I going to have? And do I need to take painkiller? And is it going to be unbearable? Because a lot of people say, so much pain. And because of my awareness, I'm thinking, I want to experience the truth of the pain and not have other people's experience. So the first day is gone, the second day is gone. There's a lot of anxiety and anticipation. And the third day is my surgery. And for the day of the surgery is supposed to happen at somewhere in the afternoon. But because of all the people who are there, I'm the youngest, so I'm put in the last because I'm not supposed to eat. So from the morning, I'm observing my anxiety. What's really happening? Okay, the anxiety is coming and passing away, and I'm just with my breath. And I do some stretching. I'm observing that the anxiety now is slowly building up. The curiosity is building up a little bit more, and I observe, and it's passing away. And that time I don't think passing, arising and passing. I don't even know the term. I'm just very much curious of what's happening. And then finally, around 11 o'clock, I'm taken to the room where the surgery is supposed to happen. And I see, just like in a spa, there are couches on both sides, and people are sitting on each side, like in very nice recliner. It's very comfortable. And there was the anxiety came in. I can see the anxiety came. A lot of anxiety came. And I remember now, just watch. And with curiosity and just observing what's happening, how much anxiety is coming. And slowly the anxiety again comes back to the neutral, like the baseline. And finally, I think maybe around like 2 o'clock or something like that, they take me in. And then they put me in the table and they give me, the injection for, what is it called, before surgery. When
Anesthesia. Anesthesia.
anesthesia, yes. So when the anesthesia come, I'm still, because from the morning, like more than 5, 6 hours, I'm observing. The anesthesia don't take up very strong. Like the power is not very strong. So they gave me in the table, and then they're taking me. I'm still asking. So how long is it going to take? And they're like, he's still quite alert. And they laughed at me and they gave me an answer. I said, okay, that's fine. So I can see very clearly my senses are going away slowly, slowly. How my mind is becoming busy, and I can see things, parts falling apart slowly, slowly, and like breaking apart. And my awareness is slowly breaking apart and fading, and then sometimes coming back and going. And I remember through the surgery, many times I could hear the conversation happening. I don't have senses of what is happening down there, but I can in between hear conversation happening. But it doesn't make sense. So when you are saying sound is sound, at that time I have the awareness of sound is sound. I don't have any reference. Now, if I could have the aggregate of understanding that sound belongs to the doctor who's doing a surgery, what's happening inside, and there is pain, and if all of them were together, I would probably not be able to understand sound as sound. But I can see sound, only sound, arising, passing, going away.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
And then they are all like different. All of the things happening differently, like separately. And then finally, the conversation stops, and now I can sense they are lifting me and putting me in a chair. So, so that level of awareness shifts because I was very relaxed. And the moment they're about to pull me up to put me in a chair. I asked them, "Oh, so is it done?" And they they start laughing. It's like, "Were you up all this time? What's going on?" And I said, "Not fully, but I can see that now it's something is over, and now you're moving me." So I have the recollection of when they were putting me in the chair. And I looked at them. I was not fully sharp, but I just had enough awareness to see they're putting me and there's a nurse. And I asked, "Is it going to pain?" And they said, "Well, we don't think so because the anesthesia is still there, and we'll give you a painkiller, and then you'll not feel the pain." But I'm curious how much pain, so I don't want the painkiller. So I was not so sharp, but I still communicated with them. So the nurse took me to the room, and she was going to give me the painkillers. She said, you're right now allowed 3 or 6 painkillers a day. I don't remember. I said, I don't think I need all of them. I just want to see how much pain and if I can actually tolerate the pain. And she said, no, it's going to pain a lot, so you should take the painkiller. I said, okay, you leave the painkiller. If I really feel it's unbearable, then I will take it. She said, no, when it becomes unbearable, it's too much already. You can't take it, so you better take before it's painful. I said, okay, I will take one because, I didn't want to fight with her. And so I take the first painkiller, And I was like, so far, no pain. I will see. So then after 4 hours or something, the painkiller is starting to wean off. And now I'm observing the pain slowly coming. Finally, the pain of from the surgery is slowly coming in and coming in. And because I have this habit of watching for the last few days constantly, I'm watching the pain is arising and arising, and I see I'm closely observing the sensation. What is like I'm like really breaking down the sensation to what is that sensation inside the sensation, and I'm just there observing all the time in a very relaxed state, and I can see its sensation is there, and it's not pain, it's a sensation. It's a strong sensation, but it's not translating into the sanya where it's like pain. And sometimes watching, and after some point, the mind is not so sharp, and I will not be able to observe in such a with so much of clarity. And slowly, I would see it's kind of like the water coming from the tap, and also flowing in the same intensity, like the drainage is happening at the same rate. But if the drainage is shrinking, there's buildup of water, right? Like so, more water gets filled up. So if I'm not watching it close enough when it's the sensation when it's arising, slowly the pain is building up. So then I could see there is physical pain arising, and then it's just passing, so nothing is happening. But if I in the moment feel like, oh, now the pain is increasing because there was an anxiety, oh, I was not watching carefully, now the pain is increasing, then I see immediately a lot of mental pain is getting built up at the same time. So it's that is not the physical pain, but mentally something is getting built up, and it's magnified, it's intensified, like that is, it's a spiral effect happening, and I'm realizing, oh, I'm losing, my focus is not observing in a sharp, concentrated way where the pain is there. I'm not watching pain as a sensation of what it is. And so for the next 4 or 5 hours, I was in that awareness, and the nurse came and said, "Oh, you did not take the painkiller?" I said, "I think I'm able to manage so far. I think I can do it." And he said, "Don't push it too far because then it will become very painful." I said, "I understand. I'm just managing." And so after that, I didn't take any painkiller. I had pain, and I was watching the whole time. And I realized at that time that there is this awareness, which I break it down. I can see it in different shapes and forms, and the phenomena is very different. It's constantly changing. And if I'm just focused on that, then it's not getting here. It's not becoming translating into a mental or a body pain. And I think my understanding is the other day he was talking about that mind pain from the body and the mind because they're really intertwined. It's very hard to see them as two different things, how they are interplaying. And so I took only one painkiller, and they were quite surprised that how did this guy just take one painkiller? Usually, most people are taking like 3 or 5 for the first day, and the second day, and slowly, eventually, they don't take. And because I did not even get on board with the idea of that pain, eventually I didn't need it. And eventually I find most of the time, even when I go for a retreat, when pain comes, even without trying, my mind naturally goes into penetrate to observe what is happening here. Let me see. And so I'm able to see pain as pain and the sound as sound, not all the time, but I also know the level of my mind. Like Shaniel was saying, that we have to get to that layer where I'm able to see it, and we're not always in that layer of the mind. It's all the mind, but we might be on a gross level where it seems all intertwined. So I feel like this experience, when you are sharing whatever you shared today, to me, I'm able to piece it how they all happened in step by step. But at that time, it was just interesting that, oh, if I go there, I can just see pain as pain. But now I'm able to comprehend in a different way. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I also wanted to share my experience. Maybe somebody might be able to discern in a different way in that from that perspective.
Yeah, you're right. So that's the reason sensation is physical. Normally, when we say sensation, it translates itself into a more physical experience. And if you don't react to that, you'll see it just pressure building up and going away. That's it. So you can now see that the air has increased, so the nerves are getting pressed. So there is a jamming effect of the pain. It increases, and then when the water drains out, the nerves contract, and that's it. Like if I could share my one of the experience which might help you or somebody else. I fell down here on the road after this accident had happened very recently, few years ago. So I stepped on a small soap kind of a thing, plastic box, and I spread my leg like this and fell down on my the same knee which has ACL tear. So I thought this time it is gone. I'm done with my leg. Fortunately, I was able to get up. So I got up, but I was feeling dizzy. So somehow managed to come home. Then I slept on the same bed. What is there here? So, and then one of my friend's daughter, she does pranic healing. So I called her saying that, hey, I've met with an accident. Can you help? She said one simple thing, Uncle, can I tell you something? You cure so many people. Why can't you cure yourself? I said, yeah, good idea. I never thought it. Thanks, dear. And then he kept the phone down. Okay. Now I lifted my leg up like this, and then I started watching through my hand. And I normally can sense people's places and see what is there. So this inflamed. So what I did is I started pressing that inflamed portion, and the water which was there started to drain out. And this piece started to contract back. In 15 minutes time, I was able to walk. Okay. And I had to go to my friend's house who has an elevator. That day, power was not there. I climbed 3 floors up with this leg, then sat on the sofa. I narrated the story. They said, you've gone mad. You should go to the doctor. He said, yes, I am the doctor. I know how to cure it. So it had become this big. Initially, it started to reduce because the inflammation stopped. By 4 hours' time, it was back as a normal feet. And that's the reason I'm confident of saying physical pain is physical pain. Mental pain is mental pain. They both are not the same. Anyway, thanks everyone, and thanks Shaniel for staying back for a little bit. He's on a fish. I don't know what is he doing with the fish on his t-shirt.
I don't know either.
Okay, good day. All right, good day, and then we will connect back tomorrow.
I'm with that.
All right, Namo Buddhaya. Bye.
Namo Buddhaya.